Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. A while back, I uploaded a video showing how to install Fedora 42 with full disk encryption using LUKS, along with snapshot and rollback support. Since then, some of you have reported that after certain system updates, Fedora fails to boot and drops you into the grub rescue shell. I have received several comments asking how to fix this problem. This issue is specifically related to full disk encryption with LUKS. During some updates, a critical line in the grub configuration gets removed, and that prevents the system from booting properly. In this video, I'll walk you through what's really happening behind the scenes. I will explain how Fedora 42 uses grub configuration files, why this issue occurs, and how you can fix it when it happens. So, let's get started. I have already booted into Fedora 42 Workstation, which is installed with LUKS full disk encryption. Now, I will open the terminal and switch to Superuser. Before we dive into the fix, let us take a moment to understand the role of grub configuration files in Fedora 42. Fedora uses grub2 as its bootloader. It is responsible for loading the operating system when you power on your computer. The grub configuration files tell grub how to handle specific tasks, like unlocking encrypted disks, and that is especially important for systems with LUKS full disk encryption, just like the one we are working on. In Fedora 42, there are two key grub configuration files that we need to be aware of. The first one is used when the system boots in UEFI mode. It is located inside the EFI system partition. This file gets loaded first by the UEFI firmware very early in the boot process. Its job is to provide the initial instructions, including how to locate and unlock your LUKS encrypted partitions, before the operating system even starts to load. Now, the second grub configuration file is found in the boot grub2 directory. This one is the main configuration file. It contains all your boot menu entries, kernel parameters, and other detailed boot instructions. These two files actually work together in a specific way. You can think of the grub.cfg file in the EFI partition as a small bridge. It contains a minimal configuration that tells UEFI where to find the full boot menu. And the actual boot menu, the real logic, is stored in the second grub.cfg file inside the boot grub2 directory. So, when you start your computer, the UEFI firmware reads the file from the EFI partition. That file then points to and loads the main configuration from the boot grub directory. Now, let us take a look at what the EFI grub configuration file actually contains. As you can see, this file has just a few lines of grub commands. One of the most important lines we usually add manually for encrypted setups is this one, cryptomount-u, followed by the UUID of the LUKS encrypted partition. This command is crucial for our full disk encryption setup. It tells grub to unlock the encrypted partition before attempting to load the main grub configuration. Now, here is the part that actually causes the most trouble. Whenever Fedora updates grub, or certain system components, the package manager automatically regenerates the grub.cfg file inside the EFI partition. This process uses a template file, and that template does not know about the manual changes we made. That means it will not include the cryptomount line. The reason is, Fedora's default installer does not support full disk encryption in exactly the way we have set it up. So the automatic generation process assumes a standard boot setup and skips anything related to unlocking an encrypted disk. And this is exactly why, after certain updates, especially grub updates, you might suddenly find that your cryptomount line has just disappeared. And your system, it will not boot anymore because grub no longer knows how to unlock your encrypted partition. But the good news is the fix is very simple. You just need to add that cryptomount line back into the EFI grub.cfg file. Let me show you how to do that properly. By the way, the UUID you use here is the one that belongs to your LUKS partition. In my case, it is /dev/vda2, and when writing it in the grub config, you need to use the UUID without the dashes. To demonstrate this entire process, I will go ahead and update the Fedora system first. The update is now complete. Now let me show you the grub.cfg file inside the EFI system partition. As you see here now, the cryptomount-u line that was here earlier is no more. It has been removed. So all you have to do is just add that cryptomount line back in here. Once you do that, Fedora will not fail to boot, and it will not drop you into the grub rescue shell. But here's the thing. Many times you may forget to check this grub.cfg file, and you just reboot the system, like you've been doing all the time. And then Fedora fails to boot, and you land in the grub rescue shell. So instead of adding the line here directly, what I will do now is just reboot the machine. That way, I can show you how to rescue Fedora if you ever land into the grub rescue shell. So I will just reboot. As you can see, I could not boot into Fedora, and instead, I have landed into the grub shell. Now to rescue Fedora, the first thing you need to do is find the encrypted btrfs partition. Type the command ls to show the partitions. This one here, hd0gpt2, is my encrypted btrfs partition. Yours could be different depending on how many disks you have in your system and where you have installed Fedora. To confirm that this partition is indeed a LUKS encrypted partition, you can enter the command ls followed by your partition name. As you can see here, you get the error message unknown file system. This is because the partition is LUKS encrypted, and the ls command in grub does not know how to list files inside it. Just to be sure, try listing the first partition instead, which is the EFI partition. And as you can see, you can view the files inside the EFI system partition, since this partition is not encrypted. So before we can move forward, we need to manually decrypt the LUKS encrypted partition. Earlier, this was handled automatically by the cryptomount-u line in the grub.cfg file inside the EFI system partition. But because that line has been removed, we now have to do it manually. So enter the command cryptomount, followed by the LUKS encrypted partition. You will now be asked to enter your LUKS passphrase. Type it in and press enter. It may take a few seconds to unlock, so please be patient. Okay, now it is unlocked with slot 0. Type the ls command again, and you will now see a new decrypted volume named crypto0. You can list this volume to verify it is indeed your btrfs root volume by running the command ls crypto0. As you can see, its contents are now visible. Now that the LUKS encrypted volume has been decrypted, to boot into Fedora, you have two best options. One, just type normal and press enter. This is the easiest way. Or the other method is to boot using the grub.cfg configuration file. For that, first locate the grub.cfg file under /boot/grub2. Then prefix the command with config file and press enter. This will boot you into Fedora as well. But I will go with the easiest method. I will just type the command normal and press enter. And now Fedora will boot just like normal. Once you are logged in, open the terminal. Switch to super user. Type the command lsblk-pf to get the UUID of your btrfs partition. Copy the UUID. Now, open the grub.cfg file inside the EFI system partition. And in the very first line, add the command cryptomount-u and paste your UUID right after it. Now here is something important. you need to remove all the dashes in the UUID. That is because Grub expects the UUID in a compact format without any dashes. If you leave the dashes in, Grub will not recognize it. Once you have pasted the correct UUID and removed the dashes, save the file and exit. And that is it. The problem has now been fixed. Go ahead and reboot your system once again, just to make sure everything is working fine. And you are back to normal. That is it for now. I hope this video was helpful. I will see you in the next one. Thank you, and take care.